Hello, ako po si Aaron Paul Del Rosario. Welcome to another episode of Songwriting at Iba Pa. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel kung matagal na po kayo nag-subscribe. And if you're new, I hope that you will enjoy this channel and learn from the songwriting tips that I have here. Especially mga baguhan, this is for you. Ang episode po natin ngayon deals with a very popular song of mine. This is Donna Cruz's Kapag Tumibok ang Puso. Of course, there have been other artists that have sung this song, but of course, yung version ni Donna is one of the most popular ones kasi yun ang una-una eh. So, paano ba nagawa yung Kapag Tumibok ang Puso? That's the question of one of my followers. Kwento naman yung Sir Aaron kung paano nyo ginawa yun kasi maganda yung kanta. So sabi ko, okay, I'll tell you how the story went. Oh, by the way, kung hindi pa kayo nag-subscribe, I hope you will subscribe. It's that little red button there. And of course, if you see the bell, go ahead and click it para naman po you will be notified kung meron po tayong mga bagong episodes in the future, okay? So let's get on the stories about songwriting at Iba Pa. So this was back in 1991. Viva's boss, si Boss Vic Del Rosario, no relationship, of course, Del Rosario rin siya, katulad ko, approached me and said, may bago akong artist. Her name is Donna Cruz. She's a teenager and of course, I'd like something na bagay sa kanyang age group. So sabi ko, okay boss, but here's the thing, I never met Donna. All I know was I was given this instruction to come up with something na upbeat, something na bagay for a teenager, something na will appeal to the younger generation. So I go, yeah, I think I can do that because, you know, marami naman ako memories from my childhood and my teenage years. So I can more or less work on that. So I went home and I started to do a little research here and there. Of course, that's how I get myself motivated to write a song. I don't just sit down and start writing. I start to listen to the songs first that I want to pattern or get an idea of the genre that I want to make for this particular artist. So, naghanap ako ng mga songs na pop, you know, cute, you know, talking about love in a cute way, upbeat, not necessarily fast, something na buhay, something na may enjoy ng tao, so they don't really have to dance with it, not necessarily. They could if they wanted to. But pwede rin naman yung upbeat. So there were so many songs I was listening to, and after a while, after I did all the research into the different songs, I finally came up with my three favorite melodies. One of them was Rita Lee's Lanza Perfume, if you remember. That's very popular among Filipinos. What else did I have? I also had Souvenirs by Voyage, but I wasn't planning to do it in that same tempo kasi mabilis yun eh, no, swing yun eh. But I was listening to the melody and I love the melody of Souvenirs, but I was playing it in a little bit more slowed down version. And then of course, finally I added, sabi ko, I really like the appeal of Earth, Wind and Fire September. One of the things that song had an appeal was it had a very good hook. Eh, marinig mo pa lamang yung intro, enjoy ka na eh. So I wanted something like that as soon as you hear the intro, nakuha ka na kagad ng attention and you'll be into the song right away. So I started playing with that. But here's the thing. When I write my songs, I have to be in the mood for the kind of song I'm writing. In other words, parang di ba, you can always eat. But ang hirap kumain pag hindi ka naman gutom, di ba? You could, but hindi mo ma-enjoy yung pagkain. So I look at songwriting the same way. I have to be in the mood. In other words, if I'm writing a love song or a sad song, I have to prepare and get into that mood where malungkot ka. You really have, kaya nakakapagod minsan to write songs because I really put myself in the moment. Same thing if I'm writing a happy song. In this case, what I wanted to do was create a happy song. Kailangan masaya ako, di ba? So nakuha ko na yung tatlong songs na gusto. So all I did was I kept playing it over and over, the three songs in the loop. What I remember doing was when I was in my room, I was dancing along with it. I was pretending to be the singer. I was pretending to be a teenager in a happy mood. How will I express this song? How do I want this teenager that I've never met to express herself? So ganun, sasayaw-sayaw ko. Kunyari, ako yung teenager, and I was, listening to the songs. And then, finally, when I was already in the right mood, um, I started to say na, okay, I started to talk to myself, because also that's another thing that I do when I'm writing songs. I don't just start writing lyrics. I talk as if I'm just blurting out lyrics here and there, just words, some sentences. Sometimes kakausapin ko sarili ko as if meron akong kausap na tao. That's how I do my lyrics, because sabay ako gumawa ng melody and lyrics. I'm not one to separate it. When my inspiration comes, sabay yun eh. So I have to be in the moment, and I'm writing my melody and my lyrics together. So I started describing, when I remember, I started describing what starting to have a crush involves, because I remember, yung bang, you hear your heart beating all the time, and it's really hard, that is. Pag nakikita mo na yung crush mo, nararamdaman mo na eh. Minsan, di ba, kinakabahan ka. You want to see the person all the time, and when you are near them, you want to talk to them, you want to sit beside them. But of course, it doesn't happen all the time. Yun yung para sa mga matatapang. What about those na, what they call torpe, yung mga hindi naman malakas ang loob? And I still remember there were times when I was a kid, natotorpe-torpe ko, and there was somebody I was a crush on, but I would like pretend what the conversation would be like. I was like, oh, ganito, this is what we're... So those things I remember. I would remember that you're talking to them. That's why yung lines in Kapag Tumibok ang Puso were like that. You're asking, pwede bang ganito? Pwede bang yan? Sige na. Pwede bang ganito? You're talking, things that are happening in your head when you're crushing on somebody. Those are things that you're saying. So you're always trying to get on the right side of the person, right? And ito yung big moment in the song when I was talking to myself. Oh, by the way, I forget, somebody always asks me yung sharam-daram part. What's that all about? See, when I was beginning to write the song, and I've finally decided on what melody I liked, I was humming yung sharam-daram kasi wala pang lyrics eh. Pero naririnig ko yung melody. It was already coming. And I was going like, sharam-daram, da-da-da, So I kept going like that. Paulit-ulit yun hanggang marinig ko yung lyrics finally came out of me. So when I was, in those days, wala pa tayo ng iPhone. So we had those little tape recorders, but it's a pocket-sized recorder with a very small tape. That's what I had. So I was recording that, me humming along to the melody that I wanted, so hindi ko makalimutan. When I listened to it again during the creation of the song, sabi ko, cute naman. Sabi ko, I'll keep it. So that's how the sharam-daram part ended up in the song, in the beginning and in the hooks, because I liked it so much, I decided to keep it in the beginning and in certain parts of the song as a hook. Fortunately, that was a good decision on my part, because I guess when people hear the song, that's what they remember the most, when they can't sing the song because they don't know the lyrics, but at least they can do the sharam-daram part. And then, here's the big moment. So I was doing that, and I was starting to write the lyrics, the verse, right? Sabi ko, wait, parating na tayo sa chorus. Now what? So I said, okay, narating ko na yung, describing what it feels like. Nagawa ko na yung, the imaginary things that you would say when you have a crush and, torpe-torpe ka, you can't approach that person. So what about now? What's going to be the title of this song? So I would continue to start talking to myself, okay, ganito yung, ano ba talaga ang nangyayari when you have a crush and your heart Pete, sabi ko, well, kapag nagka-crush ka, tumitibok ang puso mo, and pag tumibok ang puso mo, tapos na, game over. Wala ka na magagawa, siguradong huli ka. And that was the magic moment. See, the thing with love, and the reason I like writing love songs so much is this. And I think some of you may have heard that in the Atbp tribute. I said that. See, the wonderful thing about love is we can keep talking about it, and for so many generations, people have talked about it. Poets, songwriters, you've written about it in your love letters. You can keep describing love, pero parating there's one thing about it that you cannot do. You can keep looking for love, and it's just going to be elusive to you. And I've come to the conclusion is, you don't look for love. Love will find you. It will come at the most oddest moments. You don't even know it's going to happen. Bigla ka na lang, may crush na ako dito sa taong to. It could be somebody new. It could be somebody that you've known for a long time, and all of a sudden, iba na itsura nitong taon to sa akin. Parang, ba't ako nagiging close dito sa taon to? A person that you'd never met on the same day, nagkaka-crush ka. Love will find you. Don't go looking for love. It's not necessary. Love will find you. And a lot of people make that mistake when they start looking for love. They end up with the wrong person because it's a compromise. Let it happen. And that's what this story is all about. So, kapag tumibok ang puso, wala ka na magagawa. Game over. You're it. Now it's up to you and what you want to do. You can pursue that love or keep it as a crush and keep it a secret. That's totally up to you. Siguradong huli ka. So I hope you like that story. That's how my song, Kapag Tumibok ang Puso, was written. It's all about having fun when you're writing songs. Let the song and the inspiration take over. Take time, be patient when you're writing songs. Get in the mood for it. Wag mong mamadaliin because the inspiration's already there. You just have to wait for yourself to hear all of the lyrics that are in your head and be able to express it and finally write it down. Also, I've told you in the past, pag inspirado ka, start writing the song, because I can tell you this from experience. If you don't start writing, you're going to lose the inspiration. You'll probably remember what the topic's all about. But when you sit down, it's not the same feeling anymore as when you first got the inspiration. And that's one of my hard moments, of course, because my head is always writing songs. It's one of my big things. It's a blessing, but it's also hard because I always hear a song in my head. I'm not one of those that, okay, let's start writing the song. I'm always hearing it in my head. I can be walking around somewhere, I hear something, I see something, and all of a sudden, something's happening in my head. I'm already starting to build a song in my head. That's just me, but I'm pretty sure some of our veteran songwriters are pretty much like that too. Lalo na yung mga tumagal na for many generations and have continued to write songs. It's because they can hear it in themselves. So kayo, yung mga baguhan, I hope you will continue to practice. It's not going to happen right away, but you have to start somewhere. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's just part of it, but you learn from it. Learn from your mistakes. If you continue to be humble and you learn and not give up, you will become successful. Why? Because God gave you a gift. And I keep telling you, all of you, all that, God gave you a gift, and as long as you use the gift that God gave you, He will reward you for it. That's all He's asking. Nandiyan na yung regalo mo eh. Gamitin mo, buksan mo. Have fun with it. Enjoy the gift that God gave you. That's it for now. I hope you enjoy the story of Kapag Tumibok ang Puso. Continue to write songs. Keep practicing. Don't forget, especially, pray every day. Remember to thank God for the gift of songwriting that He gave you. In the meantime, ito po si Aaron Paul. Thank you so much for listening to my story. God loves you. Don't forget.